Hi, welcome to Shobbs Health and Awareness Podcast, where we bring you the latest topics related to health, awareness, and a healthy lifestyle. My name is Sarah Shobbs, and I'm the host of Shobbs Health and Awareness Podcast. Today's episode is going to be a bit different as we'll be discussing a topic that affects many women after childbirth. That's puerperal psychosis. Yeah, so today's topic is going to be on puerperal psychosis, and I have a special guest with me on this episode. Her name is Nurse Opeyemi. She has years of experience working with new mothers and has seen firsthand the impact of this condition. So I would like you to, sit back, relax, and let's dive into today's episode. But then, today's topic is going to be a bit different from how I used to publish it. I don't want to take a lot of your time, so I'll be splitting this episode into two parts. The first part is going to cover the definition, the causes, what the risk factors, while the second part is going to cover the symptoms, what you need to look out for, and how to manage it, and also how to support women during pregnancy and after childbirth. That's for the second part. Stay tuned to the end of this podcast because it's a topic you need to listen to. Thank you for joining me on to this episode. Let's dive into today's topic. So, hi, Nurse Opeyemi. Thank you for joining me on to this episode. I'm quite excited to have you coming on this episode to discuss about this topic.
Hello, Sarah, and I'm glad. I'm so excited to be here this evening. It's going to be a great night because we're going to be talking about an exciting topic. Aside the fact that most people don't talk about this topic to women during their antenatal sessions, during their one-on-one consultations, I'm glad to be here tonight.
I am also very excited about this topic. But before we start, I would like you to just give us a brief introduction about yourself.
My name is Lawan Opeyemi. I'm an influencer midwife. I'm a nurse midwife, but midwifery by specialty. I love midwifery, and I'm also a keynote speaker. Then I'm the founder of Natal Care TV.
It's the way you introduce yourself, like you're an influencer midwife. Yes, I love that.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yes.
I
am an influencer midwife, really, because I influence women with knowledge. So I am an influencer midwife.
Oh my God. Now you're making me feel like I need to go for midwifery, but no, you will not.
Yeah, please go for everything. It's very interesting.
No, okay, let's just go straight to today's topic then. Let's start with the basic here. So can you explain what postpartum psychosis, that's the puerperal psychosis that we are talking about, and how it differs from other postpartum mood disorder?
Puerperal psychosis, like you all know, some people call it postpartum psychosis, right?
Yes.
It's a broad name that encompasses other conditions under it, right? Under puerperal psychosis, you could have puerperal depression, you could have puerperal blues, so things like that. But puerperal psychosis is a wider name. It covers a lot of things under it. So it's a mental disorder, or let me say a mental condition that occurs to mothers immediately after delivery of the baby. Although some women could be immediately after delivery, some women could take some days, while some could take some weeks, right? So It's a mental disorder or a mental illness that occurs to women after the delivery of the baby.
All right, so how does it differ from the postpartum mood disorder?
When we talk about postpartum mood disorder and puerperal psychosis, there are basic things. The mood disorder and puerperal psychosis, you can't just see a woman that is having a mood disorder and just conclude that the woman is having puerperal psychosis, right? There are some things you watch out for. Let's talk about the length. Let's say in mood disorder, the women can have mood disorders when they deliver. They have that euphoria. They have that, they can just burst into tears and be like, am I really the one that brought this child into life? Something like that. So everything I went through, this child is finally alive and all those things. So you can't say that is puerperal psychosis. That is just a mood disorder. And while I was introducing, I said something like puerperal blues. There are some women, when they deliver, they have puerperal blues. But the difference between that puerperal blues and puerperal psychosis are within 2 weeks, a woman should clear off from whatever thing they're having. Either they're having mood swing, either they are crying or they are having a state of euphoria or anything, within 2 weeks of delivery, it should clear off. Okay. But after 2 weeks of delivery, and it's taking, let's say, a month, 2 months, 3 months, you start suspecting another thing. Then you start going, okay, is this woman having puerperal depression, or is this woman having with other signs, maybe as hallucination, suicidal attempts? So you can now say, oh, this woman, she's past the stage of puerperal abuse. She's past the stage of puerperal depression. Now she's going into puerperal psychosis. Yeah, so that is that's just the basic difference, the timing and the symptoms you see the women exhibit. With that, you can actually say, oh, within this period of time, it's past 2 weeks, it's past 3 weeks, the puerperal abuse should have gone. Then you are still saying it, 1 month, she's having so many symptoms, hallucination, she wants to kill her own baby, she's throwing her own baby away, she's crying, she's saying, I want to die, I want to kill myself and other things. That is no longer mood disorder. It has entered puerperal psychosis.
Yes. That sounds very, very scary.
Yes, it can be.
So what are some of the common symptoms and, signs and symptoms of puerperal psychosis, and when should new mothers seek help?
Okay, now basically, the common signs and symptoms that you watch out for is, number one, when you see a woman crying, suddenly she just sit there crying and you be like, madam, what is wrong? What is going on? In some cases, it could be that she's excited about her own child. She will tell you, I'm not crying. I'm just being thankful about the delivery process. So I'm just being thankful to God and all that. But if the crying does not stop and it extends to 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, weeks, and months, then there is a problem. Another thing we look out for, another sign and symptom is hallucination. Hallucination means seeing and hearing things that are basically not there. Maybe she will tell you, oh, somebody is coming into the room, and you'll be like, what else would be like, who is coming to the room? There's nobody coming to me. It's just you and I and the baby. Maybe the husband will start telling, it's just you and I and the baby. She starts seeing so many things, or she starts hearing so many things. Oh, Jesus is coming, or, there's so many things. Words that they say that others cannot hear, things they see that others cannot see. It becomes a problem. Once you see them doing like that, that means something else is entering, is coming psychosis, right? So there are other symptoms that you see. Suicidal tendency is one of the basic things that you see. Once women start telling you, take away this baby, I'll throw away this baby, or they get a knife or anything, I want to kill their own child. There are cases we've seen. A woman carried a knife and she was about stabbing her own child. There are cases we've seen a woman carried the child and threw the child away. A newborn, for that matter, threw the child away and be like, it's not my baby. I know that I want to throw the child over the window. Or I start telling the husband, I feel like throwing this baby over the window. Things like that. You start suspecting that a lot is going on. A normal woman that is sane wouldn't say she wants to throw her baby through the window. A woman that is sane wouldn't go and get a knife and want to stab her own baby that she carried for 9 months, right? The baby she carried for 9 months. During the day, she couldn't sleep. During the day, she couldn't eat. During the day, she couldn't walk well. And she's saying she wants to stab that baby or throw away that baby. So seeing those signs and symptoms, you know that, yes, there is a problem. And this woman needs immediate medical help. So there are so many other symptoms you look out for, like depression. When I was saying, I said sometimes women have puerperal depression. Yeah. They will just be quiet. They won't talk to anybody. As a new mother, you want to carry your baby, you want to feed your own child.
Yes.
You know everything that is going on with your own child. And this woman, all of a sudden, she's just quiet. She's not talking to anybody. She's not carrying her baby. She's not interested in the care of her baby. She's going into depression. And they keep asking her, mother, what is wrong? Or what is wrong? Can we offer you something? Is there a problem? And she keeps saying nothing. And she doesn't care about the baby. She's gradually going into depression. And she doesn't talk with anybody. As a new mother, You'll be excited to see people around you.
Yes.
Give birth. So many people will come with gifts. They will urge you. They will do this. They will do that. When people have depression, the woman is not even interested in anybody greeting her. She's not interested in relating with anybody. She's not interested in talking to anybody. She's just on her own. Then you suspect that this woman is having depression. So depression is one of the symptoms that you can use to identify that a woman is having puerperal psychosis. Yeah, so there's the fact that I said I should keep mentioning symptoms. There's so many symptoms that you look out for. But the ones that I just mentioned are the key ones. Sudden sort of throwing away the baby, hallucination, maybe she's seeing or hearing something, she's confused, she's going into depression, she has suicidal tendencies, she does not bond with the baby, inability to bond with the baby, confusion, anxiety, panic, all those things, they are symptoms of puerperal psychosis that you can always watch out for when you have a new mother, and you can always go for immediate help.
Yeah, you're right. That reminds me, 2 or 3 years ago, I have a very close relative that had almost the same symptoms. I didn't know on time until I visited, and thank God family were with her. He was surrounded by people. If he's had left her alone with her child, I'm sure that she could have, throw the baby away or done something bad. So, but the notice is always saying, just take the baby away. I'm not saying this child is not my child. I don't feel like feeding. She didn't feed the baby for like months. They just kept on giving the baby the formula. And it was later. I was like, what's the problem? She started, she was just seeing. She was having this hallucination, she was seeing things that she's not meant to see, hear things that she's not meant to hear, and she just felt like maybe the baby was the cause of all the old things she went through during delivery. That actually contributed to it. But thank God that we seek the medical help on time. And then family
I tell you,
is also part of it. Yeah,
I tell new mothers, I said, no matter what, don't stay alone. As a new mother, when we delivered, in those days, there are so many things that parents do.
Yeah.
It's not happening nowadays again.
That's true.
Then, as a pregnant woman, you're surrounded by so many people. Once you give birth, so many people are about you. You don't have to stress yourself.
Yeah.
Those that are feeding the baby are there. Those that are monitoring you are there, taking care of you are there. If things like these are happening and the woman is having any form of psychosis, be it puerperal abuse, puerperal depression, or even puerperal psychosis itself, you can easily identify and seek for help. But nowadays, everybody wants to be on their own. It's just me and my husband and my baby. Then you are inside. Something is happening to you, and you don't seek help on time. Then it escalates and becomes something bad, and will become worse. It's quite unfortunate.
That's true. You're right. Because immigration is also part of some causes that you don't have people surrounding you. You don't have, help and every other thing.
Not relative.
Yes. You are just alone. And if God will not help you, your husband does not.
Country without anybody. Yeah,
that's the point.
You don't have any support. You don't have people around you. Yes.
That's the point. You have to do everything on your own. And if your husband is not sensitive enough, it will be too late for him to know that something is actually wrong with my wife.
Because the man could actually be thinking, if it's depression, let's say depression, the man could actually be thinking, okay, you're just being quiet for your own sake, or you don't just want to talk. Meanwhile, the man doesn't know that the wife is gradually going into depression.
Yes.
So, or if the woman is hallucinating or doing other things, the man could actually be thinking, oh, is she just overreacting?
Yeah.
Why are you overreacting? Or why are you this? Why are you that? You understand? But there's a problem. There is a problem going on. Yeah. It's quite unfortunate but there are some women that still get help.
I want us to discuss about some of the potential causes of puerperal psychosis. Okay. I'm sure that there might be some factors, contributing to these symptoms or a mother having puerperal psychosis.
There are no particular cause of puerperal psychosis, or let me say, the research has not really been clear that this is what is causing puerperal psychosis. But there are risk factors that can predispose a woman, any woman, to having puerperal psychosis, right? When you say risk factors, that there are likely things that can cause puerperal psychosis. And that's what we'll be discussing. So one of the basic things I tell women that cause puerperal psychosis is stress, mental and emotional stress in pregnancy. In fact, it's like the top list, let me put it that way. It's one of the things that causes women to break down after delivery, to cause some women to run into psychosis. Stress is a major factor. So stress is a major factor that causes women to have puerperal psychosis. Now, let's put it this way. Let's say there are some women that during their pregnancy, they don't have anybody to support them. Let's use the one you said the other time, migration. Let's use the issue of migration. If you relocate to another country or you move to another region where you don't have your family with you, you don't have friends with you, you're just the only one. Now, during pregnancy, let's say this woman is a working class person. She has to cook for the family. Yeah. She has to clean the house. She has to take care of herself. She has to take care of her husband. To crown it all, let's assume she has other kids, right?
Yeah.
She needs to care for those kids, bathe them, cook for them, take them to school, pick them from school, and so many other things. At the end of the day, this woman don't even have time for herself. You know, sometimes when you're just doing certain things, you just become so tired. Even when you're not pregnant, you just become so tired because of the activities that you've done and all those things. Now, this woman, she's pregnant. She's not getting enough support. She's doing everything by herself, cooking, arranging, going here and there, going to work, coming back. All this stress accumulates together. And during pregnancy, in fact, some women start exhibiting some of the signs and symptoms during pregnancy. Research assumes that some women, yes, during pregnancy, they start having depression. During pregnancy, they start hallucinating, saying so many things. There have been cases, I'll share stories with you where we go on. There have been cases that they've admitted pregnant women in the hospital that are having hallucinations, seeing different things. At the end of the day, when you ask from the family member, what this woman, can you give us a daily activity? And they tell you she does this, she does that, she takes the baby to school, so many things.
Yes.
So all this stress accumulates to give women puerperal psychosis after they deliver or even during pregnancy. So stress is one of the major factors. Another one is lack of support. It's just, like I said, when a woman does not get the adequate support, lack of adequate support will lead to stress. Because if you don't get division of labor, someone to cook for you, someone to do this, someone to do that, and you are doing other things, you will wear out. After pregnancy, even as a person that is not pregnant, when you don't get support in certain things, you will wear out. It's law of nature. We can't cheat nature and get around you well. So lack of support in pregnancy leads to puerperal psychosis. For example, let's say children that have unwanted pregnancy.
Yes.
Majority of them have one form of mental disorder. If you look at them very well, majority of them have one form of mental disorder because they don't get support. They just took in. There is no father to the child. There is nobody to give them proper food. If not, let's just say some of them, let's say their parents are okay and they can take care of them.
Yes.
Some of them still have to walk on the road, in the streets of Lagos, in the streets of Abuja, in the streets of so many other places in order to fend for themselves. So imagine all this stress as a pregnant person. Just tell me, why don't you wear out by the time you deliver? So lack of support is also one of the major causes. Then another one is hormone. During pregnancy, there are hormonal shifts. During pregnancy, women have estrogen, progesterone. Now during pregnancy, all these hormones come into play. We have prolactin that starts, secreting so that the breast can start preparing for the baby that is coming. Nature has it that way. Right? So there are so many hormones that come into play. during pregnancy. Now, a sudden shift in this hormone can cause so many things. It's just like during menstruation that women have mood swing, changes, and all that. That's the same thing that happens in pregnancy. That's why they will tell you pregnant women get angry easily. They tell you that pregnant women, don't answer them, don't touch them when they get angry easily.
Yes.
Or they flare up on what they are not supposed to flare up on, right?
Yeah.
So sudden shift in hormone can also trigger this condition. It can just trigger some women to go into depression. It can just trigger some women to, be aggressive and do things. So we can also consider that as one of the risk factors in causing puerperal psychosis. Then another major one is previous history of medical condition, a mental condition. We all say it when we are talking to women. When we are doing history taking, we say history taking is very important.
Yeah.
And the reason why history taking is important is because we want to know if your family has it before. Because if any of your family members has it before, you have these chances of also having it. So previous history of mental conditions like schizophrenia. Schizophrenia is a major mental health condition. So let's say in the family, it runs in the blood. The mother has it before, the father has it before, one in the family lineage has it before, maybe schizophrenia, bipolar affective, depression, so many things. So previous history of mental condition can actually prone a woman to having puerperal psychosis. It's just like when you're having diabetes, when they tell you your family member has diabetes, so you are prone to, maybe your mom is having diabetes, you are prone to having diabetes. Your dad is having diabetes, you can likely have diabetes. So that's the same way it is in puerperal psychosis. If your mom or your dad or any other person has puerperal psychosis, maybe your mom has puerperal psychosis before, or your dad has a major mental condition like schizophrenia, depression, bipolar affective disorder before, then we can now say this woman is at risk of having puerperal psychosis or any other mental condition, either during pregnancy or after delivery, right? Yeah. The last one I'll be talking about is other medical conditions. There are some medical conditions that triggered some conditions in some women. Let's say during pregnancy, we have something we call pregnancy-induced hypertension. Yes. During pregnancy, some women develop pregnancy-induced hypertension. Now, during this phase, some women can go on from there and go into preeclampsia, eclampsia. So some women, even with the thought of hearing this preeclampsia and eclampsia, they can go into depression. That, they are fitting all the time. There was a woman like that while I was still working in Abuja before I relocated to Lagos. She had eclampsia. She had a very bad and poorly controlled pregnancy-induced hypertension. So from there, she had eclampsia. So anytime she fits, maybe she has seizures disorder, anytime she fits and we take care of her, at the end of the day, after the episode, she starts crying. She starts saying, why am I saying this? Why is this happening to me? What have I done wrong? This and that, Even with that, she tells me not to talk to anyone. Sometimes she stay quiet. And when I go and meet her mother, what is wrong with you? She's saying nothing. I'm just thinking about my condition, all that. So such women, if you don't move closer to them, if you don't joke with them, if you don't give them diversional therapy, they can go into depression. Right?
Yes,
so right. Condition. Eclampsia and other condition can lead her into that depression. Now, from that depression, after she delivers, she can start having so many hormonal disorders and, shifts in hormone. And from there, she can have any form of psychosis, be it puerperal abuse, be it depression, and even puerperal psychosis itself. So those are like common risk factors that women, when we talk with women, they will likely have one or two before we can actually say, this is the reason why she has the chances of having this. This is one of the risk factors. This is what is proning her to this and that. So those are basic things. Those are basic risk factors that can predispose a woman to having puerperal psychosis.
You talked about so many things, but I just want to pick on the stress, and the hormone. So let me talk about the hormone. So like the single ladies, it's always very difficult. Like when you're menstruating, sometimes you just have this mood swing, your mood change, you can just start overreacting. And, now puts it into someone that is pregnant. Of course, I know what's the whole thing that is going on in between. So, yes,
carrying a child.
That's just it. Women are actually very powerful, and they need to. I'm telling you, they should have so many special days just to celebrate women. We want more. Thank you for tuning in to part 1 of Shobbs Health and Awareness podcast episode on puerperal psychosis. I hope you found today's conversation informative and helpful, right? Yes. Okay, so if you have any question or comments about this topic or any other health-related issues, please reach out to me on my social media platform, or you reach out to Nurse Opeyemi on a social media platform, which you are going to be getting in a part 2 of this episode, and it is live. So just check, and then you see the part 2 of today's episode. Thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to drop a review, drop a rating on any of the favorite podcast platform that you're listening to this episode. Thank you.